Hey guys, so today I really wanted to do this video to talk a little bit about Pretty Little Liars because I haven't done that in a while on this channel, and I know that a lot of you kind of got used to those videos because I was doing them, I wouldn't say regularly because I don't think I've ever done anything regularly on this channel, but I have posted quite a bit of the videos on this channel and I wanted to kind of keep that up because I know that if you're subscribed, chances are you're probably into that. I will not spoil anything until I tell you that I'm going to, so if you're watching this right now and you're like cringing, I'm going to talk a lot about the books and the show and things that I think about the show that's kind of friendly to everyone and not just the people who are okay with the spoilers. So I'll let you know if you need to close the video before I start. But I figured it was safe on this channel because I've already done a video where I talk about the spoilers, basically summarizing books 1 through 8. So I've basically told you everything before. So I feel like this video isn't inappropriate because I've already done all that anyway. So the TV show right now has 3 more episodes until the finale of season 2, in which they're claiming they're going to reveal who A is. Well, don't say that. That's bad to say. But anyways, they're going to reveal who A is. And I have very strong opinions on who I think it is, and I'm going to tell you after this when I tell you all to turn it off, but not yet. I got kind of excited, and so I started talking to people on Twitter, you know, who do you think A is, what do you think this and that, and I realized that I really wanted to talk a lot about this, so that's why I'm doing this video. And on Twitter you can't really spoil things. People get your tweets, you know, sent to their phone sometimes, or they may look at it and not want to see that, and so it's really bad, I think, to spoil things on Twitter because people can't really control who they look at, and you know what I mean, like if it's on their feed. So I didn't want to really talk about anything like that. So long story short, I've explained this before, but I got into Pretty Little Liars, into reading the books, which I highly recommend you do if you haven't. I'm not like a teen. It's young adult. You know, they're young adult books, and you know, I'm not a teenager by any means. I'm 27, gonna be 28 soon. It's frightening, but it's funny because I love those books so much. I really love the Twilight books, and a lot of the books that I like are young adult novels and series. So I think it's funny, but anyways, the books are very good, and they're written in a way that doesn't make you feel stupid when you're reading them. You know, I mean, it's written in a way that you can appreciate if you're older or younger. But it's a lot of mystery. It's a lot of stuff that keeps you thinking. A lot of like suspense. Reading the books are very exciting, and that's why I love it so much. And when the whole reason I got into the books was that I saw the previews for the TV show, and when the TV show came on, books 1 through 8 were already out. I was really interested, and I watched the first half of the first season, and then they went on hiatus. And I was so into the show, so totally obsessed with it, that I went out and bought all 8 books and read them. This is before I had my Kindle. I read them all, and I was totally obsessed. When the show came back on, I hated the show. I just was not into it because I was like, oh, the books are so much better, and I was just so mad. But I kind of started appreciating the show after that again because they were doing things so much differently. So that if you had read the books and you have this really high standard from reading the books, you can appreciate the show just as much because even though the backstories are the same, they get there a different way, and there's different surprises, and you know, you can watch it and still be surprised even though you've read all the books. So there's been more books that have came out. Another one came out in January, which I read, which was really good, and I'll probably talk about that soon. But just talking about the TV show and everything right now, I have heard that A is going to be the same person in the books. I've heard that they're going to be a different person, but I'm going to talk about who I think it is based on the show. I've read the books. I know who A is in the books. And yeah, so if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you're reading it, you don't want to know who A is, or if you're watching the show, well, I don't know who A is in the show, so I mean, I guess you can keep watching if you don't care about reading the books. But yeah, so if you don't want to know who A is in the books, then you need to turn this off right now. Okay, so in the books, Mona is A, the first A. Then they find out that there's I don't even want to get into all that. It's such a long story. If you want to hear that whole spiel about the summary, then you can watch the video that I linked to below. and then more info. So basically Mona's the first A that you find out, I believe, in book 5. And so when I first found that out, and then I went back to watching the shows after having read books 1 through 8, I was sure that Mona was going to be A, because when they first came back from that hiatus, I don't think Mona was on the show very much. And but it was weird. And then all of a sudden she came back, and she came back like pretty hard. Like she was on the show a lot, and she was always kind of in people's business, and you know, she's kind of that sort of scheming, kind of manipulative person anyways. So you can definitely see how, in a way, they don't make it seem like she's A. And that's kind of funny because they've made everyone else on the show seem like they're A. So that makes me think that they're going to go that route even more, that she's going to be A on the show. But there's been a lot of weird things that have happened with Jenna especially. The whole Jenna story is a lot different. Well, the whole incident with Jenna, like the Jenna thing where she gets blind and all that, where the girls are involved in that, that's very much the same. But all the stories that Jenna's had in the TV show has been so different. So they're kind of making Jenna an even bigger part of the show. So I'm thinking that she might be involved in some way. I don't know. But, you know, I mean, Garrett obviously looks really shady. They're making Melissa look very shady, which in the books, I was convinced that Melissa was A before I found out it was Mona. That was a huge surprise to me. That's why I take spoilers very seriously, because if I take the time to read a book and then someone spoils it for me, that's like grounds for being punched in the face. Like, I'm of course kidding, but I'm kind of not. So yeah, I know how excited I was when I found out and what a shock it was, so I want everybody to have that too if that's what they want. But the show, I don't know, I really hope that they kind of live up to how exciting everything is in the books. That's the only thing I found, that the TV show will have very good weeks, and then they'll have very like blah weeks. And I wish it was just as exciting, you know, like I want the way they find out A is A to be as exciting as it was in the books. All the different times that there were A's. Because you think, oh, well, when they find out who A is in the show, they're not going to have a show anymore. Well, that's what you think in the books too. And then the story just keeps rolling. It's not like someone just picks up and becomes A, you know, afterwards, and it's just like, oh, here's a new story. Everything's very much tied in together, and it makes sense, even though it is kind of confusing. So I hope that they do that in the show too, which I'm guessing they will, because it's an insanely popular show, but they've got to kind of give the audience what they want a little bit, which is who A is. So I think that it's going to kind of, after that, keep rolling and do exactly what the books do, because that just makes sense to me. So yeah, I do think it's going to be Mona, the first A. I really do, just because, and I could be totally wrong. I've heard people, I remember last year I watched this thing about the show, and even the characters themselves said that they hadn't been told who the final, you know, for sure who A was going to be. They just kind of go with their stories and stuff. But I was thinking it was going to be different at first. I was really thinking they were going to go a different route. But now, with everything that's happened in the last couple weeks, I really think more than ever that they're going to go with it being Mona as well. Just because when they were having that truth camp or whatever or truth night, whatever, I don't know what it was, at the school. Do schools do that? I mean, have these it's off topic, but I just know that was a little funny. I think that when she kind of started being like, you know, butting up with Emily, and, you know, they were hacking into the computer at the school, and she was doing all these very like sneaky, like technology type sneaky things. She knew how to hack into everything. She was being extremely manipulative about that whole situation. That was kind of like, okay, A would do this. But then they don't lay it on too thick though, like they do with other people like Jenna and Garrett. It's like they're wanting you to think that's who it is, so that you'll be really shocked when you find out that it's Mona. You know what I mean? And that's what the book did too. I even thought Spencer was A at one point in the books. I was convinced it was going to be Spencer for a while. Back to Mona. The last couple weeks, they've really, like I said, have been making it seem like it's her with the Truth Night. And then also, when Mona started getting texts from A, I was kind of like, initially, since I've read the books, I was like, oh, they're going a different direction. But then I was like, this is so unnecessary. Why, if Mona really wasn't going to be A in the show, why would they do that? There's absolutely no reason that they would start having Mona get texts from A. I think the reason they're doing that is because Mona is A, obviously, and I think she's A in the show, and I feel like she's thinking that the girls are starting to do a lot of smart things. They're always right on the brink of figuring out who A is, like with the computer with Caleb, and with the whole phone thing that went on, where the whole Vivian thing, which that wasn't in the books. I don't think, no. So much has happened in the book, it's hard to remember, but with all that, I think she's realizing that they're very, like, close, and so I think this is her way of throwing them off, just to kind of secure the fact that they think that they think she's not A, because hey, she's getting messages too from A. She's sending the messages to herself. She always gets them, like, right when Hannah's walking up behind her at lunch, like her phone just goes off and it's like, oh, this is A, you know, and it's just kind of, it's so silly to me. But if I hadn't have read the books, I may have gone along with that and really thought that was happening. And maybe that is what's happening, and that's what they're doing to even further trick everyone, so that everyone who has read the books thinks like I do and thinks that's what they're doing. Maybe that's not what's happening, I don't know. But I really do think that's what's going on. I think that it's definitely going to be Mona. And then after that, I really think that they're going to go the same twin route with Allie. And that may not happen until later, because obviously the show's not going to stop at the end of this season when you find out who A is. And that's exactly how, you know, why the books, for the same reason that the books didn't stop after book 5 when you found out who A was, or the first A was Mona. So after watching the Halloween episode, which I really wanted to do a vlog on just because it was so good, like, it was so fun to watch. There were so many, like, hidden things. I think that show kind of cemented the fact that, or cemented the theory that there is going to be twins on the show. That's going to come into play some way. Like in Allie's bedroom, there was a picture of like 2 Allies. There was all the twin themes in the show, from the 2 Lady Gagas to the, I forgot because I haven't watched it in a while, but there were the 2 crazy people, the 2 twins at the beginning. There were just so many, like, themes of twins. The theme of twins was, like, very prominent in that show. And then also, I thought it was interesting because in the book they do a lot of references to Kill a Mockingbird, or from To Kill a Mockingbird, and they did that non-stop in that show. There were so many hidden things about To Kill a Mockingbird, it was insane. So I thought that was kind of fun, just because I think I watched that show twice, and I think the second time is when I noticed everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, crazy how they hid all of those things. So that was really interesting. But yeah, I do think that they're going the Mona route, and I do think that they're going to go the twin route. Maybe it won't be the same, maybe Mona will be the same, and then the twins won't be the same. Maybe someone else will be a twin. I don't know, but I really think that I think it's going to be the same as the book, but I really think that they're going to go about it much different ways. Like I said, that's what I said on Twitter. I think that they're just going to go about it in different ways so that people like me that's read the book is interested. So my fellow Pretty Little Liars lovers, I hope that you liked this. If you don't like Pretty Little Liars, I'm so sorry. I'm going to do a lot of different kind of videos planned for this channel. Whether they will happen, we don't know, because I tend to really neglect this channel. I've said that millions of times, but I'm going to really try. So I will talk to you all very soon.